Good morning, Pomfret. Your first chapel speaker once broke Clement's bathroom window. Your second chapel speaker has never built a snowman. Your third speaker does not have an English name. And your fourth chapel speaker is from Rowington, Connecticut. Your chapel speakers of the day are Brian Gao, Maddy Levine, Andrew Dechellis, and Minh Dich. Enjoy.
Hello, Pomfret. My name is Brian Gao, and I've been on the hilltop for 4 years. I grew up in Dalian, which is a beautiful coastal city in China, and decided to study abroad at Pomfret School in 2017. I visited a couple private boarding schools in America and was deeply attracted to Pomfret School. Before I came to Pomfret, I went to public elementary and middle school. Of course, being able to speak my native language and stay close to my parents was great, but I wanted to experience something new. In Chinese public schools, there are 60 people in each class on average, and students stay in one classroom and different teachers come in to teach. Unlike schools in America, students switch classrooms for each class, and teachers are the ones who always stay in the same classroom. There are many differences between the education system in China and America. In China, the grade of the whole semester is only based on the final assessments, and there are only standardized tests. I was never asked to do things such as presentations, paper, videos, websites. However, at Pomfret, teachers assigned these creative projects, and I found them very interesting. I remember one presentation Mrs. Horst assigned to advanced pre-calc. We were asked to do a presentation on architectures that incorporate what we have learned in class. I chose the Canton Tower in China because I had visited there multiple times, and I was impressed with the building. I had done research on both Google and a Chinese search engine, which included pictures I took when visiting the place. Moreover, I used the software from Design Build and created a model of the tower. I received positive feedback from Mrs. Horst, and to this day, my parents still watch the video of the presentation. What I loved about projects such as this presentation I did here at Pomfret is that I'm allowed to generate my piece of work with no limitations, except for Pechagucha, because each slide can only be 20 seconds. For me, especially being here at a distance, getting assignments in before due date has surely been painful due to the time difference, but the sense of accomplishment is unimaginable. The experience of living at a private boarding school is unique. I still remember the first week of tryouts in my freshman year for soccer. My roommate Matt Botta and I barely talked during the week because we were so tired from practice we would get back to our dorm and go to bed before 9. This was certainly new for both of us. Throughout my time at Pomfret, I grew as a person and eventually was able to be a leader. I was glad that I had the privilege to be a prefect in Villa in my junior year, and I spent many great times with the dorm parents and kids in the dorm. I enjoyed the heated discussions with some kids about soccer, and it motivated me to start the Friday Night League. I know soccer is not as popular as basketball or hockey in America, but I realized there are still a lot of people on campus who love soccer. The league started in the winter, and as the organizer, I had to carry the cones and goals back to the shed next to the soccer field. But luckily, thanks to some of my close friends and teammates, I did not have to do it all by myself. When you're alone on a winter night carrying balls and cones, it is cold. But when you have people carrying them with you, you wouldn't feel the cold. That is another thing about Pomfret I love. There are always people around who are willing to jump in and lend a hand. Finally, I want to take the time to appreciate everything Mrs. Griffin has done for me, especially how she helped me with the late assignments. And thank you to Mrs. Horst for everything you have done for the Asian community and ASA. At last, shout out to 师徒四人. Thank you, Pomfret.
Pomfret. I once heard from some stand-up comedy special that people are just the products of everyone that they've met. So this is my top 10 list of the people who've influenced me to help me become the person I am today. Number 1, my parents. I'm so very grateful for all that you've done for me, Evie and Alex. I know it hasn't been easy, but I love you both. Number 2, Ella Chapney. It's no surprise you're on this list. I mean, you grew up with me. We're essentially siblings at this point, having been best friends for 15 years now. So it makes sense that you're the person who's influenced me for who I am at my core. You're my foundation and a good one too. You call me out when I mess up and build me up afterwards. You make me a better person, and no one can convince me that platonic soulmates aren't a thing because they clearly haven't met us. Number 3, friends at Pomfret. You've shown me what true friendship looks like and have made me laugh more than I ever thought was possible. You've helped me realize my worth, recognize my strengths and weaknesses. Thank you for making these past 4 years some of the best ones in my life this far. Number 4, to the teachers at Pomfret. You show me that I can enjoy learning anything regardless of the topic, and that learning is one of the most powerful tools that we as people have. Though there have been some challenging moments in the classroom, many of my teachers have been nothing but kind, supportive, loving, and respectful. Special shout out to JP. You're an amazing art teacher in person. I'm going to miss you. Number 5, the golf team at Pomfret. You've taught me that I'm in control of my successes and that sometimes the systems in place make it difficult to succeed on the scoreboard. Regardless, I'm the one who can define my own successes, and I would say I've definitely succeeded since I'm continuing my love of golf at Rhodes College. Number 6, podcasts. While this isn't a singular person, you podcasts have helped me fill my desire to learn and connect with people and stories that I otherwise would never hear or learn about. For those who haven't heard me talk, I love podcasts. Yes, I might be learning nearly useless information when listening to some of them, but in the end, they make me happy, and I think they make me a more interesting person as well. Number 7, my therapist, Sandra Milling. Do I even have to explain how you've helped me grow? Yes, it's your job, but I couldn't have imagined battling this past year on my own. Thank you for all that you've done for me. Number 8, Sergeant Rooks. You show me that not everyone in those positions of authority are as awful as your subordinates were to me. When I first spoke to you, you made it known to me that you immediately cared, and that I'm not alone, and that I'm strong and valid in my emotions. Thank you for that. Number 9, Will Ketterer Sykes. Congrats, you've made the list. Somehow you've influenced me a lot in life, and I was almost entirely convinced that I was not going to find a guy who would treat me the way I deserve to be treated, with kindness, respect. The way I've described our relationship is like this. When I'm annoyed, angry, or sad, or having a bad day, I somehow always manage to find myself saying, I've got to go find Will. And when I'm happy, excited about something, or having a good day, I end up saying the same thing. You've taught me that I can't predict what might happen in the future. I had originally promised I was done dating guys, yet here I am with you. And I thought I would be spending the rest of my senior spring on campus, and here I am in North Carolina. Regardless of what life throws my way, I know you'll have my back and I'll have yours. Thank you for all that you do for me. And finally, number 10. I've decided to leave this space open to my future at Rhodes College and my career on the Rhodes golf team. I believe that saving room to grow is the most important thing that you can do for yourself to help your future self. You're allowing your current self room to fail and learn, as well as providing the future self room to succeed and progress. Both are necessary for becoming better people, so setting up a foundation of growth just seems like the smart thing to do. My name is Maddy Levine, and I'm a 4-year senior here on the Hilltop, and I can't wait to continue to grow. Thank you.
Good morning, Pomfret. My name is Dechellis. My time at Pomfret has been quite eventful. I've learned a lot of skills, and I've been tested very often. I've been challenged and have grown all the more because of it. But through those challenges, I've learned a few important lessons, not only in life, but about myself. I'd like to share what I've learned. Firstly, I would like to address the seniors watching me speak. I'd like to congratulate us on our feat of finishing out high school. And as we move forward, I wish you luck in your next adventure. It is now that we must take our first step into the real world and bring along the lessons that we've learned thus far. As we stretch our wings and fly, we will begin to look more closely at what keeps us airborne, and more importantly, what could make us fall. In the last few years, I've discovered this, and that knowing yourself is an important part of life. We all have strengths and weaknesses, but it is those things that guide us through life. Use your strengths to flourish and succeed. Do not be scared to practice where you are weak. We are ever-evolving creatures who constantly learn and grow, and as we do so, we more understand about learning itself. I'm not a good organizer, and an even worse planner. However, these weaknesses don't hold me back. I've learned that they are an essential skill, but one that I can still improve on. And through this realization, I've also learned that in order to succeed, you must fail. In 1 week time, we will end this first chapter of our lives and begin a new one. But we do not forget what lessons were in that chapter before. And in this chapter of my life, I experienced many obstacles, harsh family life, ups and downs in my grades, and a fair of dramatic moments in my social life. These are parts of the first chapters that taught me lessons that will be needed in the next chapter of my life. Be kind, be honest, work hard. What is more important to realize is that the past never fully goes away. Some of you may have people in your life that you wish you didn't. I say this because I had those own people in my life. But what some of us fail to realize is that when we grow up around traits, we gain them from those around us. Some of that may be from people we hate, some from people we love. It is not our fault, yet it is now our responsibility. Understand that you grew up around many of those poor traits and that they now may surface in your own behavior. But realize that there are still many good traits that you have picked up along the way that are destined to surface as well. Do what you can to suppress the poor traits that you see surfacing in you and nourish the ones that you'd like others to see. You will never get rid of those poor traits, but you can understand that they are there. And stop yourself when you feel you're acting a way that you don't like or that you don't want others to see. We are our own people now, and it is up to us to build our own legacy. No one will be able to achieve that for you. Utilize your good traits and strengths, as they are what make you an individual. But understand that you have poor traits and weaknesses, and that is what makes you human. As a final goodbye to my class, I trust that you will be successful, and may our paths cross again. And as a final goodbye to the lower forms, I bid you farewell and good luck as you continue your journey through Pomfret. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Min, and I'm a 3-year senior here at the Hilltop. A long time ago, my father used to tell me that do not judge a book by its cover, as he always wore a white, collar-worn shirt to work. Regardless of the clothes he wore, one thing that he especially cares about was his shoes. He reasoned that expensive clothes would not gain you respect in the presence of accompanying slippers. In contrast, whatever you pair with the good-looking shoes will likely earn you respect and admiration. I agree with this statement, and I put a lot of effort into choosing an appropriate pair of shoes in different circumstances whenever I go out. Unfortunately, no one ever wonders where or how shoes originated. We took this great fashion invention for granted. Back in the day, people only care whether their shoes are enduring enough to protect their feet. My grandmother, who was a retired police woman, often indulged herself in the wisdom of Vietnamese proverbs and cared solely about the material of the shoes. She used to teach me that, like shoes, one needs to have your mind formed of better materials, which is also known as knowledge. Nowadays, aesthetic shoes have been irreplaceable items in everyone's closet. And lately, I've been interested in researching its past since shoes is a piece of accessory that I've always valued. The introduction of Vietnam's shoes industry started in the 15th century with the influence of artisan products from China. However, only until 1986, the Prime Minister of Vietnam officially signed and approved the birth of Vietnam's shoes industry, utilizing the industrial manufacturing method from the former Soviet Union, bestowing upon Vietnamese renewed rights to comfort their feet. Coincidentally, 1986 also marked the end of Vietnamese subsidized period. Everyone no longer have to rely on the government for food and supply, which also includes shoes. Before that time, people considered shoes as a piece of clothing that protect their feet. We, however, changed our perspective of shoes after 1986, when new architecture and roads were built, and wealthy individuals start to wear fancy clothes. At the same time, a small fortune of people, such as sleek merchants, old-age socialities, rising artists, start to adopt cultures from developed countries, witness the rise of the shoes as a magnificent piece of fashion. Although Vietnam took a very long time to accept this culture, people, especially the youth, finally have a new vehicle to express themselves. Sneakers have become popular in 1924, ever since Adi Dassler, an avid expressionist, created his brand Adidas in Germany. My grandfather, a retired policeman, defined his boring daily uniform, actually loved his shoes because they grant a unique outlook. Due to family circumstances, he did not own many. As the economy of Vietnam grew, my father eventually was able to buy an expensive pair of shoes for my grandfather. Unfortunately, my grandfather was only able to wear them a few times before he passed away. My father told me this story, and it motivates me to work harder every day. I want to take good care of my family and help them to prove that they're unique, and provide for them and help them to be themselves. Speaking of families, I want to give special thanks to my parents who have always been supportive for everything I've done. I also want to thank my advisor, Mr. Graham, who have always pushes me to my limits. And finally, thank you, Pomfret, for the truly amazing 3 years that I'll never forget.